in. Yeah, we'll chat about it because a lot of people are getting out early for some reason. Usually, I'm not often in here, as you know. I'm running around. I was making phone calls. Usually, if I'm making personal phone calls, like with parents, and I don't have time to make my last one, I'll have to lock you guys out while I'm doing that. Okay, so now we have 5 minutes till the bell. So if you need water, bathroom, whatever, now's your time. Already down.
Everyone in Gemini calls me water.
I had a friend named Kat. Oh my god, I won't, sorry.
Sorry, I'm not
Look at that. Look at my Discord.
What? Oh my god, don't. I'm trying to reflect on myself. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking on your phone.
No, I don't talk while I'm in school. I mean,
So Mr. May is going to take care of you in seminar, and then if you ever need other help outside of classes,
You can say what's your name?
or if you have to read, if you need reading help, so you can help me. I mean, that's it. She'll help take care of that. Kind of balance. If you read tests, and I guess only like a couple of percentages off, you might not even need an extra reading boost.
Carl.
Your PTSD.
Kind of right there.
Yeah, you are.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I'm good.
please, you're in a public institution. It's education. Don't push incorrect messages.
That's true, the earth is like it's a square.
I mean, look, like I said, this is like experimental for me at this point. I probably could have said how many. I just one. Oh, it was two, wasn't it? It was two. You guys said you wanted to go.
A. You're not top. And B. I don't want to sit there. I don't mess it with you or Brian.
They are.
Brian.
They are.
Brian. I knew Hi, is he? Hi, alien.
He needs help. Wait, you need help?
I do need help.
Oh!
You got to understand.
Wait, what do you
Is
need
this
to
Discord?
do?
It's Discord.
Texas first.
Why?
Can't you do it? I see.
Is it a girl you like, Elvis?
No.
Okay.
Not hang
I said,
Wait, mine
okay, that's normal. That's
Why do I have 4 earrings?
Wait, I'm not gonna.
What do you mean?
I have
you got
4
4
earrings. Yeah.
I only have 1. Tattoo.
I do.
Tattoo. I just don't wear it.
My first one I got 8 years ago.
Hold on. The first one I got was.
Well, it looks like they're in
12 years
school.
ago.
Yeah. I also have a
When was
Steam
baby,
account.
you're like, I couldn't stop
Okay.
moving and like crying.
Almost 7 years.
Yeah, that's what babies do.
Looks like they're in school.
I hope you're doing weights yesterday, Sachi.
What?
Are you doing weights
Oh my
yesterday?
god, I dropped your right class.
It's not even a hydro class. Wait, do you know the school's selling scrunchies for $1?
Yeah, I saw the sign. Show it to me.
Scrunchies!
Hashtag make these
Hashtag.
Bring these friends here. Are they cute?
Thank you back here on time. All right, I'm really getting worried about the time that we have left today. So we need to get this finished. I think I'm yelling over you for some reason. So welcome back. Hope you all feel better after eating a little something. Get out and escape trouble. So I really need to get into the short story like handout and all these notes. However, I don't want to leave things hanging because I know it can be very overwhelming to not be quite sure what you need to finish, when, and where. So go back to Study Sync. If you close your computer, save battery stuff, go log back into Study Sync. Remember, go through your Google Apps. Click McGraw Hill, click the little bubbles, and then click the little bubbles. And it should be right back to your assignment. So Michael helped me realize that when I just did the generic assignment, it automatically had 2 reviews set up for you. That's great, that's fine. I don't want you spending too much time on it. If you have not yet submitted this written piece, you need to do that now. Submit something so that you can say that you did this. And this is the one you're supposed to have 300 words. So if we look at this, let's see, I'm just gonna click on one. So Hamina's, she looks like she's pretty much finished with everything. So this was the prompt. This was her response over here. 381 words. And then this is a review apparently. So this is, I think, where I can review. Peer reviews. All right, so Michael did this. Let's see, Sarah. So Michael, look at this. You guys I'm pretty impressed. Some of the best reviews I've seen so far. Covers most everything. This is great here. Something a little bit more about some advice. Now remember, we're a community of learners. You're not gonna be like, it was really stupid when, right? I don't think I'm gonna hear about any of that negativity from you guys. But if you do get a point of criticism, it's just because they're looking to say something like something they want to consider or something that they might want to consider doing differently. All right. So what I see so far is pretty good. And Hamina, you wrote a lot. You did a really nice piece. So I would be pretty happy with that. Okay. So if you wrote one and you submitted, you should have 2 student essays generated to you to also review. All right. I don't know what happens if you're like the last one to submit. Do you still get some to review? I think so. So like Lamina might end up with these 2, but if there were only a few people who submitted, maybe she's going to get more feedback. I don't know. All right. So go ahead and get this done. If you are 100% finished, I guess you can go back to Mozilla for a few minutes. I don't want to do this very much longer than like 5 more minutes. So try to write your reviews pretty quickly. Click on the things. I wrote a couple sentences up here. That could be starters. For some of you will feel really stuck when you write your review to a friend. I think your response to Rachel is, what? Gives adjectives. Well done, very thoughtful, a bit brief, maybe not complete. Something you do well is, and then you might want to consider, well, those are things you could write, you could use. Otherwise, you just write how you like to write, rank them, and submit. All right, so you should be writing. You still have to write this, right?
Where I do.
I thought it said submit. Okay, I'll look back. So Seema, it still says yours is unsubmitted right now. What the heck? Seriously?
What happened?
It just closed me out of everything.
Click on Control Shift T. And it should.
So Seema, yours is unsubmitted. So you need to, finish.
Yeah, I'll finish.
Yeah, I don't know why it's saying, but you wrote 2, you didn't do reviews yet. That way you can write reviews. So you're totally finished. Andre, you need to get that submitted, and Liz. Liz not here. Sam, get that submitted. Mark, Elvis, and Charles. You all need to submit. And then you should have 2 reviews. So that you can receive reviews. Yeah.
Even if
Well, you need to try to finish it. Take 5, or, whatever. If we move on and you're not finished, you need to still finish it.
How many words? Do I need to have?
Read the directions. It says 300. I said if that's too overwhelming, try 150.
it says 250.
I don't think we need to entertain
Yeah, Mark.
anybody's behavior. do what we need to be doing. Some of you are finished, and I know you're waiting. I'm gonna be handing out the notes. It says a response of at least 300 words, as the directions are always there. 300 words is a lot for some of you. Like I said, 150. See what that looks like. You need to start getting what word count looks like in your brains. Then we have to move on. Yeah, if you have two, so you should be able to see both reviews. Don't worry about this yet. Keep finishing them. Okay. So if you have 2 reviews posted there, yes, do both. You already wrote it? How much? Okay, did you submit? Okay, so then you should write reviews. You have to click on review. And you're gonna find the reviews for classmates. So once you're done with the writing, you submit, you click review, and it's an automatic little extra piece to finish up. If you get more than one of these, please give them back. You don't have to write a lot at this point for the review. I just want you to get the practice of this is what's available, this is what's possible in studying. I want to do more with peer reviewing this year anyway. We don't tend to do a lot with our freshmen. All right. So those of you sitting and waiting very patiently, look at Nuzella, review his notes. Don't fill anything in yet. Do it together. We'll move on together in a few minutes. guys. So in the interest of time, I don't hear a lot of typing going on. So those of you who still have to finish up that response, you're gonna have to just make a note to yourself. Remember, do not submit until you are finished. But I will be checking to see who was submitted. And then if you didn't say you didn't get to finish both reviews, because you have to submit before you can review. You need to do that on your own. All right, so consider that as a little homework. So I don't see you tomorrow, right? Today's only Wednesday. I don't see you tomorrow, so you have still all tonight, tomorrow night, and then Friday you should have that done. So it's finished up, because I have been giving time in class. So you already submitted your note and you submitted 2 reviews. You have no more study sync left if you did that, right? Some of you have study sync material to still complete. Some of you still have Newsella articles to complete for Friday. All right, it's not a big deal. Don't say, don't do that. Don't make it worse. Don't you start saying that you are what you think, right? So you want to be positive about it. So that's where you have to go. That's what we're doing. All right, everybody's gonna go ahead and make a note, write down any homework you might have, or just close out whatever you're working on, and we're gonna get away completely from the computers and close our computers. So we're gonna move on to some notes. You need something to write with. Might get messy on your page, so pencils could be fine, pens might be fine, whatever you're comfortable writing with. And you're just gonna follow along. If you have glasses, make sure you're wearing glasses so you can see the screen. And you have yours in the email. Okay, I emailed you.
Yeah.
Make sure that the document opens so that you can edit it. Okay. Okay, so you should have in front of you this page of notes. You're gonna put your name on the front because you will be turning this in each day that we work on it. I love the idea of that composition notebook, and don't throw it away or anything because I know that Kobo, we talked about having a little journal like that this year. Right, so let's go ahead and start looking through this. Now, this is going to help us craft some more in-depth analysis response to what were the original questions on the pretest. And every story that we talk about is going to be centered around these same discussion questions. So we can really prove that we can analyze the short stories. Yes?
Oh, wait, I'm trying to make sure this is
It says, study, a loving guided study. No, it should be the only one.
oh, I got it, I think.
Yeah, so if you're not comfortable writing, you can just use your notes for yourself, okay? All right, so we're gonna start with the whole study question. And we started to preview this yesterday. What are the 3 main details or parts of SETI? Someone remember? Okay, Krish. Okay, what else? Okay, and one more. Yeah. The date kind of goes with time. It's kind of, I think we hit upon this yesterday, kind of the atmosphere or the general kind of vibe. So we're going to call that time, place, and let's call it atmosphere. All right, so make sure you're taking notes because you'll get credit for completion and for playing along, and you're going to be rewriting some responses. You're going to compare your responses here to responses that you actually gave on the pretest. So computers need to be completely closed unless we've talked outside the class about taking notes. All right, Andre, you don't have anything in your hand to write with, and you should be taking notes on this page as we go. Okay, so this is important. So when we talk about time, this is kind of like the dates, or is that, we're talking date, hour, minutes, etc. Okay, could be the year. All right, I just like to write down all those little details. I guess I can write that here. Year, etc. Atmosphere, what is the surrounding detail? All right, so let's see. In the story 11, we don't know a specific time. We don't know if it's at 10 a.m. We don't know if it's like in December or February. We don't know. right? But we can still know the place and the atmosphere. So once in a while, you just don't have every single setting detail. That's okay, right? You go with what you do have. Sometimes you can say, well, it's not spelled out in black and white, but if it says the day started, blah, 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 she was like this, no, it's the morning, right? So sometimes you have to make these inferences based on what the story is contains. So what is the physical space in the story 11? Okay, so it's a school classroom, right? And when you're 11, what grade is this? It's probably fifth grade, maybe sixth if you're young. All right. So fifth graders, what are fifth graders like? What do you remember caring about in fifth grade? What becomes important to you? Friends. Friends are really important in fifth grade.
I was fat in fifth grade.
I'm just asking about in general. What do we care about in fifth grade? Friends especially, right? You start to be a little more self-conscious, right? When you're really little, you don't care what you look like or what you sound like. It doesn't really matter that much. But as you get older, you start to realize that maybe you're a little concerned about this because other people make you feel self-conscious, etc. But and you start to realize that you have more independent thoughts. You're a little older, but things can get a little more complicated. So school classroom, if we don't know the name of the school or anything like that, if we knew all those details, it'd be good to write down those details, especially when you're getting to a summary. All right, what's the atmosphere? Okay, there are lots of classmates there. What about do we know about these classmates?
They're not the nicest.
Okay, they're not the nicest. They're not so friendly. Who else in the classroom is a really big deal?
Teacher.
Teacher.
I hate her.
What about the teacher?
She
Mrs. Price. She's what?
She doesn't listen to anyone.
She doesn't seem to listen, at least to her.
She doesn't listen to the students and what they have to think. She just does her.
No, she
Okay.
listened to the syllabus.
Dang.
Maybe. Okay. And then Michael said maybe she has a memory issue.
Because in the text, it said she was old.
Okay. And old people said, I think
Yeah,
old for a fifth grader. I mean, when I was in fifth grade, I thought like 20-year-olds were old. Like, oh my gosh, you're so old and grown up. Now I look at 20-year-olds, I'm like, they're babies, right? Because I'm so much older in reality. So let's talk about this. So she's in a classroom. Let's see. She's in a room with a teacher, Mrs. Price, who doesn't, I'm trying to not to fall into cursive, sorry, who doesn't listen to her.
Do we need to write Mrs. Price or can we just write a teacher?
Well, so that's a good question because you might think, oh, that's a lot of wasted time. I know who this is. If you're going to write a summary, you want to show the person reading the summary, that'll be your teacher, or someone who's assessing you, that you get all the details. So it's best to use the name if possible with Mrs. Price, who doesn't listen to her. And classmates, who, do they like her?
We don't know.
Classmates who don't like her, Rachel calls them stupid. Okay, so we could say maybe this equals. So I like to use a lot of equal signs, little notes, so on. So if you're like, what are you writing? That's for me. When I was in college, I realized, you know what, if I'm taking my own notes, they have to be something I get, I understand. So then I would say like, okay, so what can we draw? So she doesn't really have any friends.
No friends. Maybe she's the friend.
No, there's no evidence for that.
But she calls them stupid.
She's shy though.
Stupid is considered basic.
That's true, but she's not calling them stupid to their faces or
We don't
anything.
know that though.
She doesn't really have any friends
She's
or, let's say, support in class, right? So she doesn't really have any friends or support. That's not a great atmosphere for her, right? That's not a good feeling kind of place. Right, so she's in school in 5th grade, but her classroom is full, has a teacher who doesn't really listen, friends who don't support her, they think they don't like her, she calls them stupid in her own head. So she doesn't feel like she has anybody, right? She probably feels pretty alone. So then we can go on and talk about that. So how does the school classroom of 5th graders with this teacher and these friends, how does that affect her? We just kind of talked a little bit about that. You did, but most people said something along the lines of she's in a classroom, she's upset that day. It didn't really connect how the setting affects her. So how do these facts affect her? What do they do to her? How does it make her feel? Right? So this is where you want to kind of think it out right up. So how does it make her feel? Sad, lonely. What else? Depressed, upset. Does it make her feel like she can, for example, speak up?
No.
Or say no? Okay. So this is where you want to think about this, right? So why don't you go ahead and try to draw your conclusions now. Try to rewrite this. How does the setting affect Rachel? How do we begin this?
Setting affects Rachel.
Okay. Maybe you can start with the setting is blank. Maybe a lot of you didn't label the setting. A lot of you just said it affects her because. I don't know what setting you are identifying. You have to identify the setting first on that little rubric. So the setting is blah, blah, blah. Affects her because or by.
What, like the setting is not very good?
But that doesn't tell me what the setting is. You need to show me what the setting is. You need to tell me explicitly.
It's negative.
Rachel is in her 5th grade classroom
Alright, the setting is
with this teacher or these classmates, and this is what, you need to spell that out. Label it first, then you need to say, how does this affect her? A here, A-F-F-E-C-T. Means what does it do to her? What does having this teacher who doesn't listen to her and these classmates who aren't her friends, how does that make her act differently or change her or have an impact on her? You're going to write more than just this sentence, right? You're probably going to write a few sentences for sure. So really make this clear. You want to show off that you understand all of this. So everyone should be writing this. Otherwise, you'll type this. Now, do you need to take stuff from the text? At this point, not really. You can. At this point, the evidence from the text is really the question. I don't have the story in front of you. So you might say when the teacher asks whose it is, Sylvia says, you could say that without using quotations right now. That's why we reread it yesterday, so we can remember without the text in front of us. It would probably be better if I said, if I gave you your copy back. All right, so I'd like you guys to kind of share out with each other what you had. It's again, it's kind of guided notes, participation notes. Read what you wrote to the person next to you. If you didn't write anything, what are you doing? That's what we're doing right now.
Okay. The setting in the class is classroom, and it affects her because she's anxious, and some kids were being mean to her. Are you copying? You're copying. I need to look at the pencil or my backpack off. So you can't see what I'm writing. You need to see what I'm writing on a copy. Or you're probably copying me a math class too. Who's one that had the muscle? More muscle in here.
Okay. Go ahead.
You're me. Who was the one that's about to fall asleep?
All right, so I don't know. So obviously, I'm kind of here right now, but I'm trying to see what is we're really getting. I don't know if I've heard a full analysis yet. So what can somebody read what you wrote? Was there somebody you wrote that was really good? Somebody you heard that was really good? I think Michael's was good. You want to read it? Did you read it? Okay, try it.
Alright, so I said, the setting is the classroom, and it affects her because she is around people that she doesn't get along with, and the teacher doesn't listen to her, so she's left out. And an example is like Sylvia called her out by saying this was her, even though it wasn't.
It wasn't. Okay.
And Mrs. Price just believed her.
Yeah. So what I would say for yours is that you're really right. You kept going. You didn't just stop. Say like she's in a classroom, so people are around her. That's not enough. Make sure you're really giving those details if you know them. Show that you know the story. She's in a 5th grade classroom, most likely, right? She's in a classroom when she's 11, so probably 5th grade. Surrounded by friends she doesn't like or people she doesn't like and a teacher who doesn't listen to her. So that's how they're labeling it. Because the teacher listens to other kids and not her, she feels like she has no voice, right? What is the ultimate issue with feeling lonely, left out, not listened to?
Depressed.
What does it make her not able to do?
Talk to someone.
Who said that? Speak up.
I said that.
To speak up. It makes her incapable of speaking up because she is probably overwhelmed by the fact that nobody's listening to her and her friends, she doesn't like her friends, they don't like her, or she doesn't like them. That could be part of it too. Yeah, we can look at this whole social emotional, well, maybe if you were open-minded to the people, they would like you better, but we can just tell that nobody listens to her, nobody cares for her. So that makes it really difficult. The bottom line is that it makes her afraid to speak up, right? It impacts her. She doesn't feel welcome. She's kind of feels like she's by herself. Who in here, honestly, did anybody get to that point in your written response? Here on this page. Okay, so you want to make sure you're taking it. So go ahead and write that down. The bottom line for all this
Oh yeah, I heard that.
is that it makes it difficult.
I did that.
So she's unable to stand up for herself.
I said that.
Okay? So something like having a teacher who doesn't listen. Maybe just to other kids. You don't have to write exactly what I write. You can write your own version. I'm going to say it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult for her to speak up for herself. This all impacts, right? The 5th grade classroom, Mrs. Price, Sylvia, all these kids. So having a teacher doesn't listen to her, just to the other kids, she listens to the other kids. And kids who are not friendly make it difficult for her to speak up or to speak for herself. All right, so this would be a much more complete answer than most of you gave on the first pre-test, right? Most of you, this would be an improvement. All right, so let's move on to the time we have. Character and conflict, that's setting, right? Time, place, atmosphere, whatever details you have. All right, the conflict, character and conflict. Every story has a problem or conflict. All right, so this conflict is the struggle between what kind of forces?
Opposite.
Opposing forces. Opposite. Opposing And so, yeah, it's like two forces typically, opposing forces. The character wants something and is being prevented from getting it. Many of you were taught to describe conflict with these statements in middle school. I think John and I went to this a while ago. Some of you have headphones in for some reason, so please make sure you're taking those headphones out. Okay. No need to call each other out. I'm just inviting students to do this. Yes, Chris. Do you have a question? Karina, do you have a question?
Oh, sure.
All right. Therefore, what drives the plot? The conflict itself. The conflict between these two opposing forces. When you guys end up having this conflict, some of you have seen this little plot diagram. It looks kind of like this.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the setting right here. Usually something right here is some kind of conflict or called a complicating incident.
That's a rising action.
All right? So this is what we're looking at, the conflict or complicated incident. This starts the rising action to the climax, the falling action, etc. Okay? So that conflict pushes the plot forward. Okay? The plot is just the event, the order of events, right? All right, so there are two kinds of conflict.
Internal.
All right, we reviewed these yesterday. So we've got internal and external. Good, I'm glad that this is kind of review for some of you. In means inside here. X means outside. Internal is inner, inside. External is out. Okay, outside. So let's change the page, turn the page. So let's label the two kinds. And if you can ever not read what I've written or I lose you, please just ask me to stop. All right, so let's look at the first kind of conflict. Let's stick with internal here and external over here. This is where it's going to be cool. If you already know this stuff, you're like, oh, okay, I know this. I can help give the notes. Okay, internal conflict takes place where? Inside or within. Yeah. Inside or within the character. The conflict happens, and I think, Charles, you just said this, inside the character's mind. These are like little decisions and thoughts and those kinds of things. Okay, so one type for internal conflict. This is character versus themselves. Character versus self. Have you talked like this before? Character versus self,
Yeah.
character versus, okay.
Society.
Yeah.
Nature.
So everything else is an external conflict. And we are complicated. Almost always the characters are human or given human qualities. And so it is not with not out of the realm of possibility that there can be multiple conflicts within a story. All right? So let's look at external conflicts. Does everybody have the internal? External conflicts take place outside of the actual character. The conflict occurs between the, let's see if we remember these words. Who and who? The opposing forces. What do we call those opposing forces in literature? They each have a name.
Yes.
No.
What?
Protagonist.
Yes.
Oh, and antagonist.
Protagonist
And the
And-
antagonist.
and antagonist. So this is like, if you break down the words, pro is like to or towards, like knowledge of this of the character, and then anti is against. So it's the person who, protagonist tends to be, you can't always say the protagonist is the hero, but it's usually like the main character that drives, that's involved in the plot and the conflict. The antagonist is the person opposing them. Okay? Anti-person. Okay? So there are 4 types of external conflicts between protagonists and antagonists. The first one, we're going to say character versus
Society.
nature. And I'm just going to give, there's no order. I'm just going to give you an order so we all are literally writing the same thing. So character versus nature. This can be really interesting. Can you think of any movies or books that show character versus nature?
Godzilla.
Is that really nature?
Oh.
You know what? The problem's going to be you're going to say movies that I may not know.
The Walking
How about like
Dead.
shows?
The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead? Is that more
The Jungle
like
Book.
Bates?
Jungle Book.
I guess it's
Tarzan.
What's the force between? It's what's his name? Mowgli? Who's the boy?
Idris. No.
Is it Mowgli or is that the bear or something? No, the
Talking
tiger.
about the
Mowgli is the boy, right? So Mowgli is the boy. What does he have to do? But he's not fighting against nature. They're helping him, right? Doesn't he fight against not wanting to be taken out?
Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes.
Tarzan.
How about like any natural disaster? You guys ever seen the old movie called Twister?
No.
I heard.
Sharknado.
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 Sharknado, Jaws.
Planet of the Apes.
It's not just nature. There's a story called
Planet of the Apes.
oh no. Jack London.
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Pretty much any Jack London movie. Oh my God, he almost freezes to death. He spits and it freezes. He almost dies in the storm. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember.
I know what you're talking about.
I will look into that one for you.
I
Because
would
it's
say
hilarious.
a person.
There's a story, there's one called Twister. It's about a tornado again. All right, we'll come back.
Wizard of
to
Oz. What?
Jack London stories. He writes about like White Fang, a lot about nature, but this one is
I survived.
no, it's about some of those I survived. It depends on what you survive. But Jack London stories are really about surviving against nature. There's the one about the guy who falls on his hike. He has to cut his own like arm off or something.
Wait, what's this?
27 hours.
Yeah, 27 hours.
Great Wilderness.
127 hours.
Or what's that guy's name?
127 hours, right?
Wait, what's that guy's name? Where he like survives in the wilderness?
Exactly. That would be like a survival
The
nature.
Australian.
What's it
guy.
called?
Character versus characters, the next one. Think about like
Naked in the jungle.
any
Naked and Afraid.
Marvel movie.
Naked and Afraid.
Those
Naked and
are
Afraid.
definitely, but here's the deal. Those aren't necessarily narratives or short stories. You can write it like that. But that's the concept. You're right about the concept. So any Marvel movie,
Naruto. So can we just write any superhero movie?
pretty much,
Man, why are we talking
No,
about
Rocky,
Naruto.
Rocky movies, character versus character. I think like because I'm being a Rocky fight, I'm thinking of like Karate Kid, all those kinds of things.
Oh.
Okay,
So it's like most of the movies.
Dragon Ball.
character versus society.
Hunger
It makes you
Games.
give.
Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, right. Hunger Games.
Yeah, because the districts.
Yeah.
I heard that one last year. Someone else said that who was smarter than me. I just remember.
The Hate You Give. Maybe Hunger Games. Selma. Which one? Is that society?
Yes.
Government, policies, racism, hatred, those kinds of things. If you're against in society. Oh yeah, sorry. And then the last one is character versus fate. The best ones I think of, any of the Star Wars movies. Oh yeah, Harry Potter, because he's destined, right? He has a destiny.
Wait, what are those?
Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
Don't ask what up.
Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm talking about this in terms of movies.
Percy Jackson is a movie.
I also, yeah, many of these have become movies, but a lot of the stories too, right? You gotta keep in mind, there are many books that fit into this too, and I just, for the time's sake, I want to start talking about really familiar
I'm
things
Train Your Dragon.
with movies. How to Train Your Dragon would be,
Like,
I don't know, there's a lot there.